Welcome to new Neo Storybook channel. Laugh your way to fluency. Playful stories to learn English. In a beautiful little town called Brightstone, there lived a girl named Emily who was known for her quick wit and infectious laughter. She was a naturally curious soul, always eager to learn new things, and she had a love for languages. Yet, despite her adventurous spirit, there was one challenge that always seemed to linger in the background: mastering English fluency. Although Emily was familiar with the grammar rules, vocabulary, and pronunciation, she struggled when it came to fluency. She would often pause in the middle of a conversation, searching for the right words, or stumble over her sentences when speaking with confidence. English wasn't foreign to her, but fluency felt like an elusive skill that danced just beyond her grasp. One afternoon, after a particularly frustrating conversation where her words kept getting tangled, Emily went to the local library seeking advice. As she entered, she was greeted by Mr. Harris, the librarian, who had known her since she was a child. "Emily, you look troubled," he said with a warm smile. "Is everything all right?" Emily sighed. "I just don't understand, Mr. Harris. I've been studying English for years, but I still struggle with fluency. I can't seem to speak naturally like I want to." Mr. Harris nodded knowingly. "Ah, fluency. That tricky thing that everyone chases. But let me ask you something. Have you been enjoying your practice, or has it become a chore?" Emily thought for a moment. "Honestly, it's become a bit frustrating. I want to be fluent, but it feels like hard work." Mr. Harris smiled again and gestured for her to follow him. They walked through the rows of books until they arrived at a cozy corner of the library, where a large leather-bound book sat on a small table. The cover read, "Laugh Your Way to Fluency, Playful Stories to Learn English." "This book," Mr. Harris began, "is one of the hidden treasures of this library. It's filled with funny, playful stories that not only entertain but also help improve your fluency. You see, Emily, the key to mastering fluency isn't just practice, it's joyful, engaged practice. When you're having fun, you lose your fear of making mistakes, and that's when real progress happens." Emily raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "So, you're saying I need to laugh my way to fluency?" "Precisely," Mr. Harris replied with a grin. "When you're relaxed and enjoying the process, your brain opens up, and the language flows more easily. Let me show you how this works." Chapter 1: The Power of Playful Practice. Emily sat down, and Mr. Harris opened the book to the first story. The tale was about a group of animals who lived in a forest and were learning English to communicate with the neighboring village. Each animal had its own quirks. The owl spoke in riddles, the rabbit was always in a rush, and the turtle took long pauses before speaking. As they practiced, they realized that their best conversations happened when they stopped overthinking and just let the words flow naturally. Mr. Harris read the dialogue out loud, and soon, Emily found herself giggling at the silly misunderstandings between the animals. But as she laughed, she also noticed something else. The dialogue was helping her absorb conversational patterns without even trying. Do you see how playful stories help? Mr. Harris asked. When you're relaxed, the language comes to you naturally. Fluency isn't about being perfect, it's about being able to think and speak freely. It's about confidence. Emily nodded. I think I get it. I've been too focused on being correct instead of just letting myself speak. Exactly, Mr. Harris said. Fluency is about flow. And flow happens when you're not afraid to make mistakes. Chapter 2, Why Fluency Matters. As the weeks went by, Emily dove deeper into the stories from Laugh Your Way to Fluency. She found herself immersed in humorous tales of talking fish, mischievous ghosts, and magical misadventures, each one designed to improve different aspects of conversation. The stories didn't just make her laugh, they transformed the way she practiced English. One day, as she was finishing another story, Mr. Harris joined her again. You're progressing beautifully, Emily, he said. But do you know why fluency is so important? Emily thought for a moment. I guess it's because it makes communication easier. True, Mr. Harris replied, but there's more to it than that. Fluency is the gateway to connection. When you're fluent in a language, you're able to express yourself fully without barriers. You can connect with people on a deeper level, share your thoughts and emotions clearly, and understand others without hesitation. Fluency gives you the freedom to navigate any conversation, in any situation. He continued, think about it. Business meetings, friendships, even traveling the world. When you're fluent, you have the confidence to speak your mind. You don't hold back because you're afraid of saying the wrong thing. You're able to express who you truly are. Emily smiled, feeling a surge of motivation. She realized that fluency wasn't just about language skills, it was about being able to connect with people and express herself authentically. Chapter 3, The Confidence to Make Mistakes. As Emily continued her journey, she started to notice a change. When she spoke with her English-speaking friends, she felt more relaxed. The words came more easily, and she wasn't as worried about making mistakes. In fact, she began to embrace mistakes as part of the learning process. One day, Emily met up with her friend Mira, who was also learning English. Mira had always been hesitant to speak in English because she feared being judged for her mistakes. I don't know how you do it, Emily, Mira said, admiringly. You speak so naturally now. I'm still scared to make a fool of myself. Emily grinned. Honestly, Mira, the secret is to laugh at your mistakes. I used to be afraid too, but then I realized that the more I worried, the harder it became. So now, I just have fun with it. If I say something wrong, I laugh it off and try again. Mira looked skeptical but intrigued. You really think that helps? I know it does. Emily replied enthusiastically. Remember, fluency isn't about perfection. It's about being able to communicate without fear. When you let go of the fear of being judged, the words flow much more naturally. You have to enjoy the process. That day, Emily and Mira spent hours talking in English, laughing at their occasional mistakes, and helping each other find the right words. Mira, who had always been shy about her English, began to open up. With each conversation, she grew more confident. By the end of the day, Mira looked at Emily with gratitude. "You were right. Laughing at my mistakes made me feel so much more relaxed. I'm not scared anymore." Emily smiled. "See? Fluency comes when you're not afraid to make mistakes. And the best way to conquer that fear is through joy." Chapter 4: Embracing Fluency as a Journey. As Emily and Mira continued their playful practice, they realized that learning English wasn't just about reaching a destination, it was a journey of continuous improvement. They knew there would always be new words to learn, new conversations to navigate, and new challenges to face. But they also knew that they had the tools to succeed: laughter, confidence, and the willingness to embrace mistakes. Weeks later, Emily stood in front of a small group of students, sharing her story at a local language learning event. "Fluency isn't about memorizing vocabulary or getting every sentence perfect," she said, her voice filled with passion. "It's about learning to let go of your fear. It's about enjoying the process, laughing at your mistakes, and focusing on connection. When you laugh your way to fluency, you realize that language is a tool to express yourself, not something to be afraid of." The room was silent for a moment, then a wave of applause followed. Emily beamed, knowing that her journey was only beginning, but she was finally fluent not just in English, but in confidence as well. The moral of the story is: mastering fluency in any language is about more than just words. It's about confidence, connection, and the freedom to express yourself without fear. When you embrace the process with laughter and joy, fluency becomes a journey that empowers you to connect with the world in meaningful ways. If you'd like to hear more captivating stories and content, make sure to subscribe to New Neo Storybook channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss your favorite stories. Your support means the world, and it helps me continue creating content that you love. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful take on the timeless tale. Your feedback is incredibly important to us. Let me know your good thoughts in the comments below.